Fingers crossed. Hopefully so. All right. Hello, everyone. We apologize. Technical difficulties, always an adventure, but we're here now, and we have Ben Lipitz with us, and I am so excited. What a fun adventure we just had for the last 20 minutes together. But we're here now. Hopefully this will keep going and be good. So get those questions rolling in. And I am going to go ahead and just turn it over to Ben because he's got limited time, and we know that's who we want to hear from. So just give us a little bit, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All the time we need, and just I apologize. There was a lot of traffic between the kitchen and the dining room, so
all the things. Awesome.
Hello, everybody from Disney Playhouse. I'm Ben Lipitz, currently playing Pumbaa in Disney's The Lion King. I have been a professional actor for 35 years plus. Half of that time has been with The Lion King. I have been with The Lion King between Broadway and the national tours for 18 years. I have performed the role of Pumbaa over 6,200 times. Ooh. I have played 131 cities around the country and Canada, as well as half a dozen times in the Broadway company. My other credits include Max and the Producers, Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, a bunch of plays, television, film, a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Acting, some graduate level work, which I did not complete. I did not finish my master's. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about musical theater, about show business, New York, and what everyone's doing right now during this difficult time. And we're all hopeful that we'll be back up and soon. Right now, it's #only intermission. Broadway will be back. And in the meantime, we're trying to keep active and engaged with things like this. So please, happy to answer any questions you have.
Awesome. We're cutting in and out a little bit, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll be able to piece it together. So that many shows as one character. So I guess you're not tired of it yet. How do you keep it fresh, like exciting?
That's always been a challenge. Believe it or not, it took a year to really get comfortable in the role because The Lion King is unique with the puppetry and the spectacle and the storytelling. So in addition to singing and dancing and acting, I'm also operating a 50-pound full-body puppet. You can see my face, but my arms are encased inside the mask operating the mouth, and the body hangs on my torso. So I have to learn to articulate and move my body to bring the entire puppet to life, that I'm channeling my performance through the puppet. How I keep it fresh after so many years now is, I'm sure you've heard the idea of perform every night as if it's the first time. Even after so many years, I can admit that gets worn out. And because I can't remember a performance that I gave 18 years ago or even 6 months ago, unless there's a personal connection, the show that I always remember is the show that I did last night. So I always take the stage every night, assuming that tonight is the last time I will ever get to perform The Lion King. And if it's the last time, and this is the show I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, then that's the performance I give. I perform every night as if it's the last time.
Oh, wow. I like that. Is there anybody else that has been in a character as long as you? Or are you like the longest standing Lion King performer, so to speak?
There's a handful of us who've been around as long as I have. There's one original Broadway company member who has been there for all 23 years, 22 and a half years. She's performed in the ensemble. She has understudied Rafiki at times over the years. She's the last sole remaining original Broadway company member. And in the Broadway company, there may be 2 or 3 other performers who've been around as long as I have. Sidney Lumet, who plays Rafiki, James Brown Orleans, who plays Bonsai, one of the hyenas, have been there as long, if not longer, than myself. In our national tour company, Zama, who plays Rafiki, has been in 2 national tours. She opened Hamburg. She's performed in London, and she opened the South African company as well as the Australian company.
Wow, that's really nice.
There's a handful of us,
Beautiful.
but there's no one else that has to wear a 50-pound puppet.
Yeah, that's what I said. Lucky you. Oh my gosh. All right. Angela says, as a kiddo, did you take dance lessons or did you focus on acting, singing? Like, when did you get into acting?
That's a great question. When I was a kiddo, my debut on stage was in 3rd grade, and I played Saul, a Jewish reindeer, in a Santa Claus play. And I was a walking joke. I was a walking sight. And once I heard an audience laugh, that was it. I was hooked. I took some dance training through junior high and high school, but I didn't focus on dancing. I would say that of the triple threat skills, dance is probably my least secure. I can move, and I can sort of move well. And even now, at my age, during this break that we're all taking, just 2 weeks ago, my wife gave me my very first tap dance lesson.
Oh, funny. Oh, that's fun.
You never stop learning. Class is
That's right.
over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of kiddos, when your kiddos were younger, do you remember when they first came to see you and like learned you were Pumbaa? Were they excited, or were they like, cool?
Yeah, no, my kids were very excited that their dad was Pumbaa.
That's so cute.
My son is now 15. My daughter is 11. They literally have never known anything other than dad being Pumbaa. And while they're both really gifted musicians and performers, our daughter, the bug has bit for theater. She and our son Matthew appeared with me in a production of Fiddler on the Roof last year, where they got to be in the ensemble, and we got to perform together. And the bug definitely bit her. She is all about wanting to be on stage now. Matt is still more interested in the music side of it, yeah, they grew up seeing their dad as Pumbaa, and I can remember the first time my son saw me on stage. He was still very little, and from the middle of the audience, he yelled, "Look, there's Dad!"
Oh,
and, thousands of people started laughing.
Like, but
it was great. So they're still very excited about it.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Lauren says, "Hi Ben, fellow New Yorker. You have a favorite Lion King scene that you're in?"
That I'm in. Mm-hmm. My favorite scene happens in Act 2, after Simba rescues Timon from the waterfall. That he jumps into the river and gets washed away, and Timon, Simba, and Pumbaa are sitting on a hillside looking up at the stars. And it's my favorite moment because Pumbaa never gets the credit for being as smart as he really is, and having his own kind of wisdom. And Pumbaa asks Timon, "Hey, Timon, do you ever wonder what all those bright, sparkly dots up there are?" And Timon goes, "Yeah, they're fireflies. Fireflies that got stuck in that big bluish-black thing." And Pumbaa innocently responds correctly, "Oh, I always thought they were balls of gas burning billions of miles away." And it's the one time where Pumbaa's really right. Even though we don't think he is. That kind of gentle wisdom is my favorite part of Pumbaa, and that's my favorite scene that I'm in.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Karen's on. She says, "Hi Ben."
Hi Karen.
Brooke wants to know, what is your favorite show on Broadway? I mean, outside of Lion King, obviously.
Well, there is no other show.
I know. What other shows are there?
My favorite show right now on Broadway has got to be Hadestown. It's a lyrical poem that's just absolutely brilliant about the underworld and Hades and Persephone and love, and it's I think one of the most powerful pieces of theater I've ever seen, and right now on Broadway, hands down, it's my favorite show.
Yeah.
Hamilton, close second, just because the score is so ridiculous. And then after that, I'd have to Moulin Rouge is a favorite of mine just because of friends that are in it.
We were supposed to make a trip to see Hadestown and Moulin Rouge, and that's off. So I'll have to live vicariously through people. Yeah, I was going to. We're going to make a troop, so hopefully soon. Hopefully so. Karen says my daughter's first live play was when Ben was Pumbaa when she was 3. That's so cute. She did great until the hyenas came on until she cried and I had to take her out of the theater. Hi, Karen, that's hilarious. That's Kai, my 4-year-old loves it.
That's one of the things that's so great about live theater, and especially right now with the pandemic and the shift toward live theater and our connection and love and appreciation for live performance and Broadway, especially moving to a platform like this. It's very exciting to say, let's stay connected and let's shift and let's connect virtually. But at the same time, there's nothing like being in the same space, sharing a story and the experience, because it's one-dimensional on screen.
Yeah.
It's living, breathing, feeling it, the 3-dimension of being in the theater, being in the room where it happens, so to speak.
No, it's true.
Hyenas are scary. They are. They
just... but so awesome. That's really great.
They're really nice.
That's really funny. Angela says, with iconic characters, people expect a certain performance. How do you make it your own?
Just because I'm my own unique person, because I'm filtering that iconic idea through me, through my skill, my technique, my performance, and all the things that I bring to the stage. I'm not ever looking to reinvent a character, and I'm certainly never looking to imitate the work that's been done by fabulously talented artists before me. I'm aiming for a really small target, and in that target is your expectation. So I'm aiming for a target every time. Pumbaa is described as a lovable, gravel-voiced warthog who wears his heart on his sleeve. And how I interpret that is what sounds like this. And while it is reminiscent of Ernie Sabella, the actor who was the original voice, Seth Rogen, I thought, really did a very brave and admirable job as the voice of Pumbaa in the live action version that came out last summer, because he never stopped being Seth. He brought Seth to our idea of Pumbaa.
I like that.
But that's what I think, that's our responsibility as actors, to interpret the material.
All right. I like that. Karen says, what is the biggest piece of advice you would give a young performer?
Be yourself. Be yourself all the time. We are all unique, special individuals. And when we're auditioning, when we're performing, we can get caught up in the idea, I have to be a certain way, or I have to be what they're looking for, or I'm not. And it all comes from a place of insecurity and unpreparedness, that I have to give them what they want or I don't have value. We all have intrinsic value as ourselves, and either we're the piece of the puzzle that's missing when it comes to casting, and when we're auditioning, the people on the other side of the table, when you walk in the room, they're already on your side. They want you to be the solution to their problem. They want you to succeed more than you want to succeed. And we have to own that and hold on to it. And the best way we can do that is by being ourselves and not being afraid to not be the piece of the puzzle that fits, because eventually we all fit somewhere. If the more you're yourself and the more you do your homework and really be prepared to audition and perform, then you're really bringing yourself to a performance and not a version of what you think someone wants.
I like that. We all fit somewhere. That's good. That's good advice. Renee says, be yourself seems to be a common piece of advice. And it's true, but we've heard a lot of be calm and be yourself, be kind and be yourself. And absolutely, I think that's perfect.
Kindness and professionalism always wins the day, because it doesn't cost anything, and it's how we want to be treated. And if you make that a part of yourself, then it's no effort to do that at all.
Lydia wants to know, how challenging was it to learn to sing in the Pumbaa voice?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't remember. I think
just kind of happened.
I think it was kind of easy because I didn't know who I was, who I am, and what I bring to the role. I found it's changed over the years. Sometimes it's been more cartoony, and sometimes it's really just been my own natural voice, trusting that I am inherently, in the context of the show and wearing the puppet and the lights and the costumes and the music, that I'm embodying the truest heart of Pumbaa by being myself, by bringing myself completely to that role and not trying to impose something on it or trying to relive the idea of a memory that I did in something that worked last night. Yeah. Just being present. And I knew he was gravel voiced, so I knew I had to approximate what he sounded like. And then over the years, I've come to the idea, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And that means I sleep every night, I hydrate, I work out, I try to take care of my health. And that allows me to consistently maintain 8 shows a week of that really hard gravel voice without hurting myself.
Whew. Wow. Yeah, now I guess it just comes naturally after that many years.
You hope so.
But Grace asked, do you have any pre-show rituals to like get you ready?
Pre-show rituals, you know, when I get to the theater, I get to the theater early. I like to kind of connect with my friends and walk around the theater and just touch base with everybody personally and say hi and check in with everyone. And then my warm-up is mostly in the afternoon, a couple of hours before show. And that way I just have to do a light vocal warm-up in the dressing room, because you don't want to really be bothering. If you share a dressing room, you don't want to bother the partners or the other actors you're working with. And in a company of 53, it's hard to find a spot to warm up when you're at the theater. So I do my warm up privately on my own before I get to the theater. And then I just try to relax and bring myself to the show and remember that that's the whole reason for my day revolves around about 7:30 p.m. to 11 o'clock at night. So I'm on a different time schedule, but I try to be available and ready with my best energy at that time of day.
Oh, sorry, you glitched a little bit on that one, but
just try to be.
That would be.
I just try to be ready by half hour so that I don't have to push through the performance or work too hard.
Whew. I bet that would be an adjustment for schedule. Schedule is tricky for sure.
If you think about it, everyone's mostly on a 9 to 5 schedule, a school day.
Yeah.
When you're coming home and relaxing at the end of the day, that's when I need my biggest, strongest energy.
Yeah. Whew.
The clock of my day tilted from everybody else's.
Yeah. Wow. And aside from, we talked a lot about Lion King, but you've done a lot of other stuff. I mean, you've done some TV shows, you've done a lot of other things. So do you find you lean towards one more? Like, I'm assuming you really like the stage, obviously, but what is the difference for you? Like the big difference between like a TV show and
the big stage? In television and film, you have to do a lot of the work on your own. You need to come to set memorized, ready to go, ideas to be flexible if the director gives you a note to change your idea of a performance, which rarely do because they've just auditioned you. So generally what they liked in the audition is what you're looking to redo in performance when you're on set. So you already have an idea of the choices that you're going to make and how you spoke and how you held your body, however your performance is based. So you're looking to just kind of expand that. But television and film is about hitting a mark and being the right light at the right time and let the camera capture you. So your performance is geared to a 2-inch lens as opposed to filling a theater of 1,500. I love working in television. It's really light and fast and ephemeral. Film is usually a little more textured, and you have more time to craft a moment and really dig deeper emotionally. But you have to be prepared. That's the commonality, the common denominator between all three mediums is you have to be as prepared as you can be anytime you're in performance mode.
Yeah, makes sense. Chris, hi Chris, says, thanks for doing this. If you could go back and do it all over again, is there anything you would change or choices that you would make differently?
I would make sure my son wasn't streaming online so that Megan and I didn't have technical difficulty. Oh, you meant in the big way. If I could do, yes, there's actually a lot I would do differently. I would trust myself more. I would prepare more. And I wouldn't, it's not that I took my talent for granted, but I assumed that I could get by being talented. And sometimes I shortchanged putting in enough real hard work by assuming that I can get by on what I think is good enough. I would have pushed myself a lot harder.
Interesting. Karen, this is one I've been thinking about too. Karen wants to know, what's it like to be on the road away from your family? How do you make that work as a dad and husband?
Great question. I'm on the road a lot. When I'm traveling, no matter what, every 3 weeks I go home. I take a few shows off. So at least once a month, I'm home for three to 4 days. When I'm close to home, I drive the tour. So I have my own vehicle on the road, but then I will fly back from whatever city I'm in and spend a few days at home. So I make the most of that time in between cities. If we have an extra day, I'll fly home. If we're close to home, my family will travel out to see me, which became less over the years because kids have their own schedules and their own activities, and home is infinitely more comfortable than a hotel room or a one-bedroom apartment. But we're grateful for things like FaceTime and Skype, which over the years I've reviewed homework. And there was a time it felt like it went on for a couple of years, but every night I sang lullabies. For a couple of minutes in Act 2, no matter what time zone we were in, I found a couple of minutes every night to call my kids and sing lullabies. I find a quiet part of the theater hallway backstage somewhere, and I get on the phone and stand there and spend a few minutes singing to my kids. And to this day, they still remember the lullabies.
Oh, I love that. That gets me in the heart.
It's like anything, even if I weren't traveling. My wife, Rosalie, and I have a great partnership in that we work for our relationship. We don't assume that anything is easy, and we're committed to the idea of always working at it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
It doesn't matter if I were at home. I've been home 9 weeks now, and we're still working on it because
it's still working.
It's a big change.
Yeah.
We need to be home in the house all the time.
Yeah, it is. It's a big change, I think, for everyone. That's definitely testing, but that's awesome.
But it's great. We're doing it well, and if not better than we ever are before. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Grace asks, is there any other Disney character you would like to play?
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I would love to play either Baloo or King Louie in the Jungle Book.
Yes. I love it.
In our show, I would love to be able to play Scar, because who doesn't like a great villain?
Yeah.
That would probably be it in the Disney canon. I'm sure I could imagine a few more, but on the spot, those Baloo and King Louie are the ones that come to the top of my mind.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun. That's awesome. I can see that in my head now. I'm picturing it.
Oh, I'm the king of the swing. Jungle VIP. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh my gosh. Brooke asked, what cool places have you been on tour? Do you have a favorite place you've been?
What cool places have I been on tour? Yeah, I'll actually tell you that Birmingham, Alabama was a really big surprise. It's actually one of my sleeper favorite cities because it was a lot of fun. And I was really surprised at how general lifestyle was. It was really beautiful. I've been equally surprised by, of all places, Tulsa, Oklahoma was incredible, arts-based, cultural little city in a state that you wouldn't expect it to be so culturally based, so culturally friendly. For me, though, my favorite city, town Philadelphia, for hometown reasons. And then after that, San Francisco is just one of the most magical places in the country.
Fair. Awesome. Chris wants to know, do you have an iconic, embarrassing moment performance story? Anything stick out after that many years of performing?
Nothing has gone wrong.
Nothing ever. No. Nothing ever goes wrong in live theater. I love that, Chris.
I have a really great story. It's one of my favorites. So late in Act 2, there's a part of our show called The Confrontation, where Simba and Scar face off, and it's this huge, wonderful dance break where the hyenas and lions are all fighting and dancing on stage. And in the middle of it, across the stage being chased by hyenas is Pumbaa being chased by a hyena. Pumbaa runs across the stage. I bend over, the back of my puppet rears up, and you hear a French horn sound, essentially farting on the hyena. And then Timon can beat him up while he's distracted from the terrible, horrible gas that Pumbaa has just emitted. It's a sound cue. It's a recorded French horn, and it's played on one of the synthesizers. So one of our keyboard players has to basically hit the key on the piano on the keyboard, and it hits the sound. The next recorded sound cue is the voice of Mufasa saying, "Remember," as Simba climbs Pride Rock at the end, and we hear the ghost voice of Mufasa. And as I ran across the stage one day, instead of hearing the French horn farting sound, we heard Mufasa say, "Remember." And that was embarrassing. It was fast enough that I don't know that anybody noticed, but somehow Mufasa's voice came out of Pumbaa's backside.
That's amazing. But everybody.
There have been times where my puppet has broken. There have been times where I've lost balance and got knocked over, and in that puppet, it's almost impossible to get up.
Oh boy!
But the show goes on. We keep going.
Well, and luckily it's a comical role, so you just kind of roll with it.
Exactly.
Oh boy, that's really great. Beth wants to know, were you at all associated with the reworking of The Lion King in Shanghai? That took place.
No, I was not. Some of our team, our associate team, was. Our resident director was part of the Shanghai production. Of course, Julie Taymor was there, and I've worked with her 4 or 5 times over the years in residence. But each company has its own production team, a resident director, the music director and conductor, and a resident dance supervisor. So Julie and the worldwide associate directing team, kind of sets up the show and then teaches it to a local team. So while I wasn't directly involved, the contribution that I've made to the performance and being, I hope being one of the standard Pumbaas that they enjoy my work so much that they keep renewing me, that a little bit of that work gets transferred. On a side note, if any one of you have ever done The Lion King Jr., which is an educational program that Disney has put out for schools to do their version of The Lion King, there's a video component that's hosted by Cindy Winters and Jelani Remy. They were our Simba and Nala, and the Lion King Jr. program that goes out to all the schools around the world was created on our tour.
Oh, that's neat. All right.
So I have a little bit of that. I contributed to that a little bit.
Oh, that's really cool. What what did you do before Lion King?
What did I do before Lion King?
Did you have other shows or?
Actually, funny story. I was doing a live play in Sarasota, Florida, when I auditioned for Lion King while I was on a break from a TV series. So in the middle of this live show, a play called Dirty Blonde, I flew up to New York on a show day to audition. And literally when I auditioned, they made the offer to me in the room and told me to give notice on the play.
Wow.
And then found out later that I would also have to get out of a television contract because I was literally in the middle of 2 other projects when it happened. But I'd been auditioning for Lion King for a couple of years, and it just finally worked out and lined up the right way. And I never expected it to be this long an engagement. I don't think anybody can, but I love what I do every day. And along the way, I'm able to do other work here and there. They give me a leave of absence, and it allows me to kind of flourish as an artist and do other work. And then I come back to Lion King fresh and renewed and, hungry to do another couple thousand shows.
So that's interesting. So you auditioned for Lion King a few times and just kept trying.
I was cast in the fourth time I auditioned for it. I auditioned for the original Broadway company, but was told that Tom Allen Robbins, who was the original Pumbaa, was going to move from the workshop to Broadway. So it was an audition for them to just meet me. I auditioned for the first national tour for the Los Angeles resident production. And then I auditioned for the national tour. And the second time I auditioned for the national tour, they booked me.
Interesting.
But they kept calling me back. So there was something that they liked about my work, but it just wasn't working out. But that's why we have to be tenacious and always put our best foot forward when we audition, because even if I didn't get the job that time, I did well enough that they remembered me to say, well, we like him. We like his work. Let's see him again.
Yeah.
Actually, from some of those unsuccessful auditions, I got other auditions for other shows that the casting director was working on because they liked what they saw in the audition that I didn't book.
Wow. That's a great life lesson right there. There you go, fellow future actors. Stay determined.
I mean, sometimes just the audition is the only success that you should expect. Yeah. Getting in the room and getting to act for a couple of minutes, you shouldn't be expecting any more than that.
I'll have that. All right. Karen asked, any idea when you'll go back out? Where were you when all this happened? Were you out on tour or?
We suspended on March 12th, the same day that Broadway shut down. The tour was in South Bend, Indiana.
Oh.
The set is still on the stage in South Bend, Indiana. It's still kind of mothballed and stored there because back. We have been told the earliest that we will return to the tour is the middle of October, but we were also told that it was it was going to be 2 or 3 weeks in March, and then we heard, well, maybe the end of May. It's going to depend on the response of the health of our nation, and no one wants to go back to work more than everyone on Broadway, but we also want to go back responsibly, not just to ourselves, but to our patrons and our audience. We don't want there to be any reason why anyone would want to stay away.
Right. Whew. Wow, that's tough. Beth, who was the one that asked about Shanghai, said, awesome, you actually pioneered the role for them. I was Julie's host the night it premiered. It was a beautiful show and so neat to be able to know a show so well that it speaks to you even when you can't understand a word they are saying. She said, tears every time. Oh, I love that, Beth. That's amazing. Grace said, Grace said, I did Lion King Jr. in middle school. She played Shinzi. What is the biggest lesson to be taken away from Lion King?
The biggest lesson to be taken away from Lion King is that you have to be true to yourself before you can be true to anything bigger than yourself. You have to know who you are if you're going to take a place in the circle of life. You have to be willing to accept yourself for who you are.
I love that. Wow. Awesome. Thank you, Grace. That's a great question.
That is.
Karen wants to know if you would take a little time and talk about how you first broke into the business, where you were trained. Did you go to school? How long did it make a How long did it take to make a steady paycheck in the business, etc.?
Who's making a steady paycheck?
I know.
I started performing, like I said, in elementary school and all through middle school and high school, community theater. I received a Bachelor of Fine Arts from California Institute of the Arts in acting. I did a professional apprenticeship at the Walnut Street Theater, which happens to be where Karen and I met when she was working there. I have been a teaching assistant at what is now University of the Arts. I did some master's work towards a master's degree. I only did 1 year, but I didn't finish. I just started working. I am a lifetime member of the Actors Studio in New York and Los Angeles, which is, while everyone knows it to be this very kind of romanticized, incredible studio, what it really is a laboratory studio for actors to practice their craft and to rehearse and to do scene work and just keep their instruments sharp and fresh. I've always believed in taking class, especially in the things that I don't do well, trying to make my weaknesses a strength, and learning or gaining insight from every opportunity, no matter how big or small it is. It contributes to something bigger that when there's more work for me to do, I'll be more prepared and feel more rewarded by it, because you have to put in the effort. Nobody starts at the top in any field, but especially I think in our business, you have to be willing to read a play, volunteer, take a class. You have to be committed to the idea of lifelong learning if you're going to continue to grow and bring more of your craft and your heart and your artistry to the stage.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very good. I love it. Well, any other questions? Last call.
Did that
reach
answer
40 minutes? See, it goes quickly.
I'm very concerned.
So, yeah, I think that's awesome.
Question.
Karen, good. Yeah, I think so. I think that gets it.
That's good.
I love how we're all connected. We have all these. Karen knows Ben. Ben now knows me. I know Chris, and Chris knows your buddy Mark. I love it. So we're all connected.
And for everybody,
that just goes to show you the theater world is actually.
Megan's husband Chris is best friends with one of my best friends from Lion King. So when we figured out that connection, it makes us family. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, he was Scar on tour with you. So small world. There you go. All right. Oh, Renee says, can you sing a few measures? Are you allowed to do that? Can you sing a few measures?
Hakuna Matata.
Got a little bit earlier.
What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Oh my gosh.
Great.
My daughter's first acting class was Lion King theme, so she's probably going to freak out in a minute. She might be downstairs watching this. She's been singing Lion King for weeks. So that's amazing.
Great.
Oh, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I could probably keep asking you questions and keep going for a long time, but.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to do it. I'm really happy to connect with everybody at Fantasy Playhouse. And, just know that what you do is important and vital. Bringing people together to tell stories has the potential to change people's lives. Never forget that.
You make me teary. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We appreciate that, and we appreciate you. And I just wish the best of luck through the rest of the quarantine, and we'll be following along your journey.
Likewise, everybody stay safe, stay home, stay healthy.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye.